that?
Well, good evening, our lovely viewers. Thank you, JBN TV, for hosting me again. My name is Kevin Kiari, a lawyer by profession and also accounting. And I come from an organization called Forum for Progressive Future. It's a registered NGO in Kenya and started operation from February this year. Thank you. Talking about, is it something?
It's all right, go on.
Talking about building bridges. We first experienced building bridges in 2007, whereby after the after the skirmishes of the post-election violence, through the help of the international community and prominent people in Africa, like Kofi Annan, we had the first building bridges, the first handshake. That was in 2008 between His Excellency Mwai Kibaki and the Right Honorable Prime Minister, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Then later on, at around 2012, we experienced another handshake between His Excellency the President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto, that culminated into a government in 2013. Over time, after the 2017, there were some needful skirmishes, though not much, that led to another handshake in 2018. But my reservation with the building bridges is, what I know about building bridges, when you are talking about building bridges, it's an all-inclusive process. You have to include everyone who participated in one way or another, even though not being on the ballot, but they played a key role. That includes the voters or your supporters. So what we experienced in 2018 was just an agreement between two key political players. They both didn't invite their running mates. So that is why we see there's that tendency of people saying that we are building one bridge while destroying another. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Next, we have lawyer Ivy Kinuthia, and I would like you to just give your opening remarks as you talk about your views on the recommendations of BBI in general.
Okay, my name is Ivy Kinuthia, like she said. I'm a lawyer and a legislative researcher. My views on BBI are actually quite mixed. I think it comes at a crucial time when we really need to unite the country, and it's commendable that the leadership of the country came together to come up with a report. The contents notwithstanding, we'll get into that later, I guess.
All right, thank you. We have David Mwangi, who is an engineer. Karibu, David.
Thank you very much. My name is David, as she said. I'm an environmental activist also, and I'm also a politician. I'll be vying in the near future. But for now, let's stop with ambition. Let us deal with first the document before us, the BBI. Thank you.
Thank you. And this face you've been seeing, but for the past 2 or so weeks, he has been missing. You'll maybe tell us where he's been. We have Samuel Mundia, who is the youth leader for the Jubilee Party.
Thank you, Betty, for hosting me. And we have been doing some few works for the party, kwa mashinani kidogo, and also building bridges. That's why we have our document here today.
Thank you. There's something that, Kevin, you've talked about, yes. Inclusivity. Yes. Maybe we'll just start from there. With this final draft of the BBI, how is it solving the problem of inclusivity in our government?
Now, one, I have a reservation in that document, in such that to the extent of, I'm asking myself a big question. First, we have to ask ourselves, what is the essence of any competition? Or what is the essence of election? The essence of election is for one to win, while the other to lose. Then second, it's about controlling resources. That's why you usually find we are having that contest. So what this BBI or this report is coming to do is trying to neutralize the essence of any competition, because what is the essence of me competing with maybe my good friend Ivy, then at the end, Ivy becomes my Prime Minister. There's no need of us having competition. We can as well decide, there's no need of us wasting resources. We do that through consensus. We sit down somewhere in a boardroom in Hilton. We decide, I'll go for president, Mundi will go for prime minister, Betty here will go for deputy prime minister. Then we save the expense of the taxpayers' money.
So what you're saying is that you do not feel as if this BBI is going to solve the issue of inclusivity?
Yes. You see, in our current government, the issue of inclusivity is solved through cabinet, appointments in cabinet, and boards, parastatal boards, government institutions. That is where you find a lawyer or an OGEC is given somewhere to represent as a representation of his or her people. So I'm wondering how creation of 5 posts is going to unite 44 tribes in Kenya.
All right.
Yes.
What's your take on that, Ivy?
Well, on one hand, it increases representation from
Marginalized
counties.
communities. Mm-hmm.
Not really, but counties that have a lot of people. I think they are going to add the number of constituencies, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Because the number of MPs is going up to, National Assembly members going up to 360,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're suggesting 94.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then on the other hand, you have the revenue formula, 1 man, 1 shilling,
Mm-hmm.
being instituted in the constitution. So it's really, I don't know. It's a mixed bag.
Reactions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, David. What's your take on the issue of inclusivity?
I differ with my friend a bit. We have to know Kenya. Number one, Kenya is divided into tribes. We cannot avoid that. We know that. We've been trying to avoid that through different means. It has not been working. Kenyans identify themselves by the second name, which is not the best way to identify ourselves. So we find that we have people who believe they should have the resources, others believe they are marginalized, others believe they're the minority. BBI, the primary issue of BBI was supposed to break that, to make sure that all tribes are included, all tribes are working together, and then we have one Kenya.
Yeah.
I have not finished reading it, but I will finish reading it.
Okay.
But I believe it can, if it does not really fit, or it does not really solve the problem of tribes, it can be, maybe we can include something on it, onto what it has right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Samuel.
Number one, the position is not the issue. The issue is us as leaders. Do we value the name Kenya? Because most of us leaders, when elections comes, most of us, we go back to our tribal.
Yeah.
Like I'm a kingpin in northern Kenya. This is my bedroom in Nyanza. This is my sitting room in Nairobi. That is the main problem. As leaders, we cannot solve the tribal factor with a leadership post.
Yeah.
We can solve the tribal factor with us as a leaders accepting it, calling ourselves Kenyan. That is how we'll solve it. Number two, the benefit of us having the position, it will be a burden, yes, to mwananchi, common mwananchi, but it will be a benefit to few youth. Because the position of Prime Minister will create jobs. PA, driver, security, all those sort of jobs.
Just to cut you short a little bit.
Yes.
You're talking of providing opportunities for the youth.
Yes.
And you saying it's creating jobs like for that position of the Prime Minister.
Yes.
How are we having a youth who's a Prime Minister?
No, it's not, I'm not saying having a youth as a Prime Minister. When the office has been created for a Prime Minister, they will have a support team.
Yeah.
Now that creates a new job, a new group of job. Because the position that we have, tuko bado na vijana wenye wana job. So we'll have another people getting recruited.
Yeah.
At least that is the benefit that we'll have. That will many young people will be employed, but it doesn't solve the tribal factor.
Okay.
Number two, the last point is that it shows that we are greedy people as
Why is
leaders.
that so?
We are very greedy because we create position. The document I will tell you, 20% is for common mwananchi, but the rest is for the politician. Because it's only speak about leadership positions.
Maybe you have something to say on that?
Well, the leader of opposition, I think Mundia would agree that it's a benefit to everyone because you now solve the issue of your person who does not win the election being part of government, and that's so important, especially if you're inside and within government. Definitely, I don't think there's one solution that any report or any person can ever provide that will be sufficient. to solve all our country's problems. Tribalism is something that's been going on for a long time, and we have to unlearn these things. But I don't think that BBI or any other constitutional amendment would ever solve it. But then not taking any action is really not a solution. It's not an option for us anymore. We need to move forward in one way or the other.
And there's something, India, you've mentioned about the youth. So there's a proposal for a 7-year tax waiver for the young people. How practical do you think this is, Kevin?
Now, well, first and foremost, I think the document is a recipe of chaos. One, as you have said, as she has said that, or he has said that it will create a prime minister. And you see, according to that document, what there is that this prime minister will definitely come from a majority of MPs or a coalition of parties. So imagine a situation like in 2007 whereby the president comes from PNU, while the majority in parliament comes from ODM.
Yeah.
So you see what this means? There's already a creation of the office of the opposition with a shadow cabinet. So definitely the president may want to weaken, for instance, the former prime minister, and choose his running mate as the prime minister to weaken that candidate.
There's no room that measures as to what extent does the president appoint.
Yes.
Okay.
Secondly, about the 7-year tax holiday. First and foremost, you have to realize you're taxing people who have been filing nil returns.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense. What we could be talking about is establishing a safe haven whereby this youth will conduct business, they will get employment. Then after that, we can start talking about creating that haven of tax holiday. Secondly, how practicable is it for us? And we know our major source of income as a nation is tax.
Yes.
How practicable is it to remit or to allow 75% of the population to a tax evasion?
Yeah.
Secondly, these people, whether these leaders, they will form flower companies and just put Mundia there to evade tax. That's what will happen. Then how sure are you that the next government won't come into place and appeal or amend that bill?
All right, Ivy, the same. What's your take on that 7-year waiver?
Well, I think it's commendable, guys.
Yes, true.
Let's, honestly speaking,
Yeah.
if we don't begin to do those games of registering funny companies and doing the wrong thing, if we all there's nothing like this. We are the government. Yeah, so if done correctly, I think it's a good thing for young people, and it's honestly incentivized. Yeah.
Okay, David, on that note as well, you can also address this issue on a 4-year break with help repayment. Is this empowering the youth?
First, I'll start with the tax first.
Yeah.
For me, I support it. 7 years. May I do business. May I do business. I know the pain of starting a company that is crawling, and then by the second year, you have to pay a lot of money. You've not done any job, or you've done small jobs here and there, and then you'll find that your company just dies a natural death. For me, I support the 7-year tax holiday. For me, it's okay. It doesn't matter whether the next government will come. When it comes, and then they want to change that, we shall also go to the street and tell them not to change it.
Okay.
But now, what I would like us to have a clarity on that. Because I was discussing with someone, and they were telling me to what extent.
Yeah.
I am a youth. For example, I'm a youth. If I have a lot of money, I should pay tax.
Yes.
I think it should address to what extent does the company, because sometimes most of the companies or some of the companies will be owned by youths, but as shadows, and they will be doing big business, but they're not paying tax. So again, we shall start saying our net of collecting tax should go wider. Yet we're not even concentrating on the youths who are doing much business. I can say that, but for me, it's recommendable. Number 2, about help. I support. It should even be 6 years. Apparently, even BBI should say help for those jobless youths. Kwanza waweke kando. Kwa sababu, I'm sorry to say this, but I think some of us asked for help, but we didn't know after campus you won't get a job.
All right.
So you find it has accrued, you owed a hell 160,000, that is plus the interest. You find in 5 years, 6 years, man, you're paying 460,000. And what they do, each and every month, I think they charge you 5,000. They keep on texting you. You don't have a job. It is one of the ways that it is frustrating to the youth. That one should be, I think, changed a bit.
Do you share the same sentiments?
No, I don't support this.
Okay.
7 years tax holiday. And actually, it's 7 years, and the other 8 year, I will not say live on TV, but I will say this. Number one, I would rather have reduced the tax on basic commodities that we have, that the youth, mostly youth, use. For example, if we remove tax on textile, you're creating a lot of jobs. If you reduce the tax on spare parts from other countries to come to our country, you are creating more jobs. If we reduce on importation, we import even toothpicks, we import tissues, pens. If we reduce that, we are creating more jobs. I will say this: at what point will, like for example, my friend engineer here and my lawyer there, they are working.
Yes.
But how many youth are working? How many youth will not be taxed? Okay, we need to take a good look of on this tax issue, because the common man, common youth, Kim here in Mudhurwa, is not taxed. How will it benefit him? He still buys his mandizi, the same price. He buys the bread, the same price. So there is no way he will benefit from this tax. So this tax holiday is for selected few. The big man, the big man banzu.
I differ with my friend.
No, it's true.
Allow him finish.
It's the truth, because the tax holiday is those people who do returns on their companies. They have done big tenders with the government. They have done supplies with NGOs. That is where the tax holiday will come
So
through.
what you're saying is you're not for the free holiday, the 7-year free tax waiver. You are for it being reduced rather.
Yeah, for me, I would rather support it being reducing tax on those things that key youths.
Okay.
Like so that my friend will understand here. I will use his example, him as an example. My friend Daniel, he has a company that does road. Okay, a person who does roads ni mtu amejiweza, to say the truth. Person who supplies anything to the government. We know the notion that you have to know someone so that you get a tender.
Okay, let's stop speculating and,
No, it's
and
true.
allow
It's
him
true.
his views. Yes, David.
I disagree with my friend.
Okay, go
Number
ahead.
one, I don't supply anything to government. That is number one. Number two, I don't do it. Number two, he said. Number two,
No, I did say
those are
example.
speculation. So
No, I
number two,
did say
I also don't
example.
supply.
Okay,
I don't construct roads. I don't do that. But
You're engineer for bodies.
I am a young engineer who is trying. And what I can say, we are giving a tax holiday to the youth. Why? So that we can encourage youths to open companies. Let me tell you one thing. The problem with the third economic world countries or something, we like relying so much on looking for jobs without creating jobs. You're looking for a job, but you don't create a job. For example, I'll say this. Those who are learned, the youths who are learned, in campus you're taught to create jobs. And now you find them, they're the ones who are looking for jobs. So what happens? The bulk on the unemployment side of people who are looking for jobs outweighs the job creation. So me, it's okay for me if the tax holiday, because it will encourage more youths to open companies.
No,
But
Okay,
maybe
yes,
you
I think-
opening companies to do
I
what?
think I'd like to
It's a lot.
on that.
There are a lot of jobs.
Just do what?
I think the okay, two sides as well. It will help people who are doing quote unquote off the books business to legitimize and move to the next level. Because for how long will we stay doing some of the things we're doing? Not for too long. And then we won't be used forever. And number two, not all of us are entrepreneurs, please.
Yeah.
Whoever's listening to this and has the capability, please also look out for the people who are employed as well. You know, maybe keeping the reduced income tax.
Yes, Kevin.
Now, this recommendation has a lot of pros and cons. But one, you have to agree that it will make the youth lazy. Because one, I knowing that I have 7-year tax holiday makes me not work hard. Hata leo nikikosa kazi, I know tomorrow nita relax. But it will create in me a sense of patriotism, knowing that I'll work hard, I'll have to work hard so that I pay tax. You know, that creates a sense of patriotism. Secondly, he has said that it will encourage youth to open businesses or to register companies. How do you register a company without money? You see? You having a tax holiday does not ensure you that you have money. Because to register a company, a private company, you require 10,500. By the time a youth gets 10,500 to register a company, that youth is the age of 28, 29. Also, if you are from campus, you don't have 10,000 just waiting for you to take and register a company. Secondly, the process of name search. You know, these are the things that hinder youth from doing businesses. Because one, if I require 100 shillings for name search, then it fails. It requires me like another 400 shillings for me to qualify to get a name reserved. Then after that, it requires me 10,500 to fully register that company.
So what you're saying is that you feel that the 7-year tax-free waiver is legit and you're for it.
No, I'm not for it. What I'm saying in short is there are other avenues to encourage youth to do business than giving them a tax holiday.
Okay.
Reduce the registration process, reduce that bureaucracy in government. Then second, ensure the 30% tenders are going to the legitimate youth. That's the only way you can help the youth.
True. All right, I'm receiving your tweets, your comments on Twitter. The hashtag to use is the compass. You can also send in your comments on Facebook at JBN Television and on Twitter at JBN Television. There's one, Apindi Hobson says, I agree with Kevin. We are a tribal country, hence inclusivity is more of positioning our tribal kingpins. BBI is a product of a tribal cocoon. As a country, must be willing to have a different conversation. Thank you, Apindi Hobson. Keep on sending your comments and your tweets and any questions you might have that we will address on the show. But I'd like us to quickly switch gears. BBI proposes that any corruption case be had and be determined within a maximum of 2 years, right? Yes. So what's your take on that? We'll start with you, Kevin.
My take on it is this. One, it also proposes that the CJ is directly appointed by the president.
Yeah.
That means you have killed the independence of judiciary. One, for instance, if the president wants to kill you politically, you are going to be framed with a corruption case. Then your case is going to be determined in 2 years and you're definitely going to jail. Because that is what will happen. So that independency, what we have done basically, we have killed justice injustice. So me, I would suggest we have an independent tribunal, or we empower the EACC to ensure that these bodies or these institutions, first and foremost, are independent. Then secondly, we empower the judiciary to be fully independent. Let us have JSC only appointing the president through merit, not finding a DCJ has only 1 degree. And you see, in our career, Wakili can tell you. Wow. Wakili can tell you.
Please leave me out of
Wakili can tell you the process of becoming a judge. The process of becoming a judge first. There's the academic qualification.
Yes.
Then secondly, the experience.
Yeah.
So you find in a CJ or a DCJ, I'm not quoting anyone, having 1 degree, just a bachelor's degree, it raises question.
Okay.
So I'm sure this is not an honest thing because it is impracticable.
Ivy, go ahead.
Well, putting a time cap on it is good. Because then we cannot continue to have cases forever.
Yeah.
But it should also be accompanied by other measures, like ensuring that maybe the corruption cases should start at the judges' level instead of the magistrates, because they are less susceptible to taking bribes. It's, one thing about this whole process is it cannot. BBI needs more support. So that it's good.
Yeah.
It's not everything, but it's a step forward. I think that's now my take.
What's your take on that, David?
On 2 years, I support it. On the about the other side of the judiciary, we need an independent judiciary. At that time, I don't have an option about it. But about corruption cases for 2 years, that is absolutely nice. In fact, they should reduce the steps, as she said. It's due magistrate court. It should just go direct to the point, and then we can have investigations done easily and faster before even these people finish the money. Because we need also the money back. Yes.
As you address that, Samuel, how does this issue reduce the problem of corruption?
Number one, we need first to understand that we have witchcraft in our government.
Yes.
In terms of you are framed with a case, which is not true. Or your junior is in a case, but you are the one who is framed. Then you are dismissed without good merits. My question will be is that on those 2 years, I'm suspended as a CS, and I'm found that I was not part and parcel of that corruption. What happened to me? And I was dismissed unfairly. Okay, I support the 2 years, but we need to dig more that we don't have witchcraft in the whole process. Number two, as the way Kevin has said, that we need independency. Now imagine whereby the police reports directly to the president. We have directly the CJ be appointed by the president. You are loyal to your boss.
Yes.
Your boss says jump.
You don't bite
ask.
the hand that
No, you don't ask how.
You ask how high.
You just jump until where is it stop.
Yes.
Okay, so we need to counter check all this. The BBI has good reports, and for me and the youth, we are going to propose that this BBI be divided into two. This way, that we have the positions za mabig banzu ziende referendum. Then hizi vitu zingine za parliament ziende parliament. Now we deal with the elephant in the room, which is the positions with Kenyan Mwananchi. Then the other things, let us go directly to parliament, because there are a lot of things that they don't need referendum.
Okay, so speaking of a referendum, what is likely to be the referendum question if there be any?
Now, first and foremost, the CJ gave a recommendation that the parliament is illegal.
Yes.
So I'm wondering which that stage, what will happen? Because any business in parliament right now is illegal. Even those bills, they are all illegal. Moving forward from the day the CJ gave the recommendation to the president. So I'm wondering, or which craft or which game are they going to play to ensure that it passes the parliament initiative, then it goes to Mwananchi? Because after the county assembly, it's going to go to the parliament. Now parliament cannot give us any recommendation or cannot okay anything.
Yes.
So I'm not foreseeing any referendum until maybe the parliament is dissolved until a new parliament
2023.
is
coming. Well, the legitimacy of parliament notwithstanding. Definitely things like that have direct changes to the legislature and the whole structure of government have to be changed. Any introduction of any commissions, they have to go through a parliamentary, process, because they're constitutional bodies. So technically.
David?
The argument of dissolving the parliament notwithstanding, we should have BBI before March. Let's get done with BBI and do other stuff, kindly. Kenyans need to work, Kenyans need to look for food, Kenyans need to look for money. Our economy is down, we need to move. But because it must happen, let it happen earlier so that we can do other things.
Okay, there's a concern that I've seen online whereby, it was when you were speaking about the president appointing the CJ, the president is also to appoint the prime minister and the vice president too. So the concern here is what stops him or her from appointing someone from his region?
I will say this. That's what I'm saying. This BBI is all about individualism. That it's all about us. Number one, it doesn't solve actually the main concern the unity. Because the moment, who is a prime minister? Is a leader of government, business in parliament. That right now we call him majority leader.
Yeah, majority.
You cannot have a majority leader from other party. Okay? Because ataribu mtaratara. Ni kweli?
But we've talked about BBI as being more inclusive.
It's not inclusive because I'm saying this. The president will appoint the prime minister from the majority side, not the minority.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, there is a problem. There is a problem there. It doesn't solve number 2. Where? In the what? In the election. Because the president will appoint the majority. So where is number 2 going? How have you solved the issue of winners take it all?
Yes, Ivan.
I would say the BBI is definitely an improvement from what we currently have, because we don't have a leader of opposition position,
Yeah.
which is bad, because perception
Yes.
is reality.
Yeah.
And if we had certain individuals in parliament, it would actually increase, accountability and really make let's not act. What I'm saying is, let's not pretend that there's not been an improvement from what we currently have, because it is fixing some of the issues that were being raised previously.
Okay, as we come to
Can I
the
ask
close of the
a
show,
lawyer question? I want to ask a question.
let,
Just
let
one
us,
question.
let us keep asking of questions.
Just one question.
No, as we come to the close of the show, maybe just ask, do you think the BBI is pro-Wanjiku or for the political class?
It's for the political class.
Why is that so?
Because one, what we expected is, if it was pro-Wanjiku, we could have issues to do with reducing tax that affect maybe on subsidies, having subsidies on fertilizers, issues to do with issues that affect Wanjiku. For instance, the farmers. We expected to see something to do with farmers there. Those in the matatu industry, those others in these other kind of businesses being included in that BBI. But what we are seeing is just issues to do with political parties nominating commissioners, this doing what, having president appointing prime minister. You see, that is just affecting the political class.
Yes, David, what's your take on that?
For me, BBI is for Wanjiku up to where I've read. I'm on page, I think, on 8, so far so good. It will bring inclusivity. It is addressing women totally, apparently. I think women should support it. If our woman apparently would support it. And up to where I've read. But as I finish, I know I'll be back here. I'll come and put the points rightly. And then where we have corrections, we can always correct. It is not a perfect document. We can never have a perfect document. Kenyans, let's be real with each other. But we can always amend and always correct where we see that we have a weakness. And then we can have finally a very good constitution.
Okay, I'd like you to just give your final thoughts, your parting shot. There's much to be discussed on the BBI. But for tonight, I'll start with you, Samuel Mundia. What is your final thought?
My final thought is first, between 2017 to before the handshake, we saw our right honorable Prime Minister coming out with dossiers of corruption cases.
Yeah.
And even some going through the minority leader in the parliament. That is opposition. So is that we have opposition. The problem is that they are eating right now, they can't speak. They are using the notion that table manners, you can't speak when you are eating. So we have the opposition, but they are busy eating. Number 2, my final thought, between this BBI solving the Wanjiku and the political class, yes, it solved the big Mazoo class. The prime ministers, wale tu watu wanajiweza. Even not MCAs, the big guys. The president, prime minister, because even they don't talk more of the youth being represented in parliament. The commission that they have given us, what is the use of the commission? Because everything will be done in parliament, then commission will do the work. Now, if you don't have the youth represented in parliament, then we are doing zero work. Number 2, they have suggested to remove the slot of nomination. that they will not be nominated MPs in National Assembly. It's a wrong move on this way. That even the president that we have right now, he's a product of nomination to the parliament. Now, the nomination slots, if well utilized, it gives opportunity for young leaders to step in.
Yeah.
A good example, the Uhuru Kenyatta. A good example, Johnson Sakaja. Good example, Isaac Mwaura. A good example, Gideon Kete. I can mention them. If you go to the handset of the parliament, then you will see the good proposal, good motion that these nominated MPs have. I think the best way they could have deal with it is to empower their capacity. Okay. Like for an MP who is nominated for youth, have this budget, be this way. The nominated MP for workers, do this way. Okay, you have your own budget. That is how you will empower people.
All right, Kevin, your final thoughts?
Well, first and foremost, I want to encourage each and every one of us to go through that document extensively. We read it with open mind and see that if it caters for the interest of us, we should then realize that we are the majority. Kenyans are the majority. We are many than even the political class. So, and power belongs to us. The moment we realize that people power is greater than political power, then I think we'll be able to demand for more. We have now the leeway to demand for more. We can demand even for more to be included in that report. For instance, the issues to do with PWDs, it is not well catered for in that document. Issues to do with youth, more can be done. More can be done. Then we should also demand as the young people. You know, the women have demanded and they have been given the county government, whereby they have said that the deputy and the governor must be of opposite gender. Then we can also demand as the young people, one of the DPMs should be a youth. So I want to tell the political class that Kenyans this time round are awake, they are much aware, and they have network now.
Yes, David, your final thoughts, and then finally Ivy.
My final thoughts on this.
Yes.
I would like to appreciate and tell all Kenyans that they should read the document. Don't politicize the document before you read it. Don't say yes or no before you finish reading it. Analyze the whole document and make sure you make a decision of your own. That makes it better. Usiseme ati nitasomewa sijui na nani. Lazima ati usikubali kusomewa na mtu yote. Usikubali kusomewa ati kama hasla nani amesoma na wewe umesomewa. Jisomee document alafu then you can make a decision. That's what I can say.
Ivy, finally.
It's the BBI is not perfect, but constitutional making is a bargaining process. It is my prayer and my hope that this is not the final thing that will go in, especially with regards to women and youth and different concerns. But yeah, that's it.
All right, we've come to the end of the show. It's a wrap, but after its official release, as we've witnessed the launch of the final copy of the BBI, you will be doing yourself justice if you read the document for yourself. In an instance where you need clarity, ask a friend, a neighbor online, but get to understand and comprehend it. Much has been gathered from this discussion, but we'll leave you with this in addition. Proverbs chapter 4 verse 7 says, wisdom is the principal thing. And in getting wisdom, get understanding. It says that wisdom is a principal thing, therefore get wisdom. And in thy getting, get understanding. That is what we leave you with. Thank you for watching JBN. This is The Compass. My name is Betty Muzarika. And until next time, keep it JBN Television.